It is Wednesday, May 15th, 2019. I'm Rameshi Jairam with tonight's edition of News in Depth. Welcome and thank you for joining us. We begin tonight's newscast by telling you that my sister was a definition of what domestic violence is. Relative of shallow grave murder victim. Here is Royce Drakes with this report.
My sister was the total definition of what domestic violence is, according to sister of the shallow grave murder victim, Zila Sugrim. Years of domestic abuse ended in death, a sad reality her family hoped would never come, the sister said.
My sister was a total definition of what domestic violence is. And while I would see many things, as my colleagues would tell me, Stockholm Syndrome, battered women syndrome and all of that, yes, you recognize it, but how to deal with it? So while we might recognize it, we need to start thinking how to deal with it. Because for those persons who, those persons who are following the story would know it's not a today or yesterday or last year or the year before. It's been there quite long.
Now more details are emerging about the remains that were discovered in the shallow grave on the west coast of Demerara on Tuesday. The remains were identified as Zila Sugrim, a mother of 5 who went missing last Saturday after leaving with her former husband and father of her 5 children. Today her sister said they learned that Zila was shot and killed, then her remains burnt. However, this afternoon, the police said a post-mortem examination revealed that the victim died as a result of a gunshot injury to the head.
But more than likely he shot her and then burned her. So that's the latest. As I said, this was not confirmed by the police, but this is from what we would have gathered as family members.
The woman said her family was always fearful for her sister's life. She said her sister received help both from the state and relatives, but at the end of the day, it was her decision to make.
It's only for her to make that decision. We only could expose her to certain things, or we only could make her aware and try to educate her. But at the end of it all, she was the individual that had to make that decision. And for me, somewhere along the line, there was a point where nobody could have gotten through to Zila.
Sugrim's remains were found in a shallow grave at Crane, next door to her ex-husband's gas station. The woman went missing last Saturday. Her sister said her sister was abused for years at the hands of her ex-husband, who is now in custody. According to the police, the man confessed to the gruesome crime before leading investigators to the site where he buried her body.
More news on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
It's your new secret. The all-in-one weapon for perfecting imperfections and capturing flawless skin. A lot of brands forget women of color or just don't understand that we come in all shades. From caramel to ebony, there's such a range. Iman Cosmetics is for every woman and features a line of skincare products and cosmetics including 16 foundation shades, powder, concealer, lipstick, blush, eyeshadow, highlighter and BB cream. Visit us at Lot 75 Swamp Section, Rosal Town. That's behind the market. Or call 337-4422 or 688-9249. Shh.
Welcome back. A father of 2 is seeking compensation for injuries he sustained at sea. Here is that report.
It has been an uphill task for Tashwa Isaacs of Wim Village, County Berbice to maintain his family since he lost one of his fingers and the possibility of losing 2 others. The 23-year-old fisherman and father of 2 said the incident occurred while he was plying his trade at sea on April 20th in the Suriname waters. The young man said the incident occurred as he started the winch. Soon after, his fingers were stuck between the belt and the roller. Isaac said after the incident, he spent 7 days on the boat before he was able to seek medical attention.
I gotta get justice. Me get my wife with 2 kids, and a lot of stress. Me can't work. At the scene when the accident happened, the man keep me back. The captain keep me back 7 days out there, 7 days to sea, with my accident. I don't know. And I begging and asked them to bring me in. Even they carry me in a poured over. A coupon and said no. That then I get gas for go work.
What is worrying to the young father is that the boat owner, who he worked with, refused to offer him any compensation. The young man said after the boat was docked in Guyana, he reported the matter to the Labor Department in Belize, but the man he identified as the boat's owner has since denied ownership of the boat.
And the health and safety officer and me. And the health and safety by tell me that they do the investigation and the man in owning the boat. And they can't do nothing with the case. They close off the case. And me went and take private action, and now them a call and them a beg. I take liar and thing, you know. This morning they put somebody on Suriname for call. I be coming from sea, we catch 1,100 trout. And the captain, he take out money, all of my hand, he take out 5,000 all of my money for pay people for discharge the fish. The man take out the first cut, everything the man take out on my money. So me not really left with no kind of money when he don't take out all the money. And which mean I'm not supposed to do that. And tell me that when he come in, the same thing what them work, me go get. So I don't know what go on.
Isaacs has taken private legal action against the boat owner in an effort to get some form of compensation for the injuries he suffered.
I sell swaggerific. Spaniard me like staggerific. I Spaniard. When the star give me a hand on the whole place. Turn up, stag up. Turn up, stag up. Turn up, stag up. Stag in me hands now. Hand up, stag up. Hand up, stag up. Tell them no. I don't business if you're not on time. You must always have stag in the line. Well, everybody have a stag in the hand. Where's mine? Staggerman's beer.
And finally, more needs to be done for indigenous people. United Nations Forum notes. Let's take a look.
The United Nations Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues, which recently concluded in New York, has been described as an opportunity to share innovations and practices developed in indigenous communities over centuries and millennia. Indigenous peoples make up less than 6% of the world's population, but account for 15% of the poorest on earth, according to the forum. They live in some 90 countries, represent 5,000 different cultures, and speak the overwhelming majority of the world's estimated 6,700 languages. 2019 is the International Year of Indigenous Languages, and it was noted that we have to celebrate languages, but also take concrete action to preserve them and save those on the verge of extinction. Anne Wargum, who is a member of Finland's Swami Parliament and head of the Council's Human Rights Unit, pointed out that in many countries, indigenous children are not taught in their language. Citing Article 14 of the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, UNDRIP, she recalled that indigenous peoples have the right to provide education in their own languages. As studies show that children learn best in their own mother tongue. Ms. Nwargam encouraged everyone to make sure our children are connected to their indigenous communities and culture as they are linked to their lands, territories, and natural resources. Recognizing UNDRIP as a watershed moment in 2017, General Assembly President Maria Fernanda lamented that it still faced implementation challenges, saying that the world has a historic debt with the indigenous people and that much more must be done to overcome the implementation gap. She also drew attention to Indigenous women, pointing out that while women are key agents of change for tackling poverty and hunger, they face multiple forms of discrimination and violence. The session started on April 22nd and ended on May 3rd with regional dialogues held the second week on the topic. Established by the UN Economic and Social Council in 2000, the forum provides it with advice and recommendation on indigenous issues. The 16 independent experts of the forum, 8 nominated by the UN member states and others by indigenous organizations globally, work in their personal capacity. Tracy Can reporting for News in Depth from the United Nations headquarters in Manhattan, New York.
With that, we've come to the end of tonight's newscast. If you have a news story or tip, you can contact us on 666-4337 or 618-6533. You can also visit our website, www.rdproductiongy.com, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at Royston Drake's Production for more details on these and other stories. Join us again tomorrow for another edition of News in Depth. I'm Ramesh Jairam saying good night.